Hello and welcome to another How to Crucible weapon review video with your boy Absolute Quality, and today we're going to be talking about Song of Justice 6, if I'm reading my Roman numerals right. It's a scout rifle from New Monarchy. So once you grab this scout rifle from Executor Hideo, you can go ahead and test it out in the Crucible. Let's go ahead and start with my opinion first. So playing this personally, I had a very good time. I had a great time playing with this weapon. It was weird. I played the first 5 matches with one of the scopes, and then I switched, and I found out that the smaller scope was a lot easier to control and also easier to just play around with, really. The other scope zoomed in really far. It kind of made things awkward, but using that smaller one, it helped a whole lot for those last 5 matches. Another tidbit of information, I really don't enjoy the flinch that this weapon offers. I haven't had any problems with any weapons that flinched. Like, I'm getting shot and my like aiming is visibly going up in the air. I haven't had that problem, and with this weapon, I feel like I had that problem with every single gun I was facing. It didn't feel like I was facing a certain perk that other people were having. It was every gun that was hitting me. I was just kind of jerking up a little bit more, missing my shots that way, and now it was kind of weird, and I really did not enjoy that. This is the first gun I've even noticed it, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, if flinch is in the game, I'm mad immediately. Just, I hate flinch. Shout out to my Call of Duty days. But I really did enjoy using this weapon. It does take a little bit getting used to. You definitely have to change your playstyle up to play with this weapon, but it was actually really fun when I figured it out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. So for the impact, it's pretty high on the bar there. It is a 56, 57 headshot, and it's probably around, I think it's not probably, but it is a 40 body shot. So it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage, really, like a ton. It's basically a 4-hit, I think it's a 4-hit headshot, I'm 100% sure actually. Yeah, 56, yeah, that's not going to get you 3. It is going to be a 4 headshot though, which is always nice. Moving on to range. Range is very, very good. The bar is almost full, and yes, it was very good. I never felt a damage drop-off, ever. I never felt like I wasn't doing the same amount of damage, so that really was kind of helpful. Stability and handling. Stability is not great. Personally, I didn't think it was that hard to aim, that hard to control, but maybe it is. Maybe it's just harder in general. I don't know. It didn't feel like crazily hard to hold. It just, the bar's low, so the recoil is kind of bad. Handling, it's slow. It's slow. You're not going to be sprinting at people and turning 180s on people with this weapon. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge, a little bit more of a methodical, slow gameplay. Reload speed, the bar's kind of low. I didn't really notice it as being slow. It didn't feel slow at all. It felt normal. It felt like a normal reload that would happen with any other weapon, so I didn't have any problems with that. Rounds per minute, 150, and then magazine is 12 bullets. Let's go ahead and take a look at the perks of this weapon. The perks of this weapon, first of all, the intrinsic perk is a high-hitting, slow-shooting scout rifle, so that's basically what it is. The archetype of this weapon is slow, but it hits pretty hard. And then the only perk that I really, really want to talk about is armor-piercing rounds. The last perk is auto-loading, and I don't care about that at all. I don't think anyone does. I'm putting the weapon away when I run out of bullets, and then I'm pulling out Graviton Lance, and I'm probably just going to end up using that for the rest of the match if I take it off. So I really didn't have any activation of this perk, really. I didn't run out of bullets, put it away for a while, pull it back up, and it's already ready reloaded. I mean, yeah, it's convenient. It's very convenient if you have it away for long enough. But if you're just trying to put it away to like do a quick swap reload, it doesn't work. That is impossible. It doesn't. It has to be a short period of time. And their short period of time is like 10 seconds. So that's kind of, out of the gunfight for 10 seconds trying to have this thing reload when you can just reload it in 4 seconds. It's convenient when you're not using the weapon and you want to pull it out and just use it immediately. But is it helpful at all? No, it's really not. Armor-piercing rounds it penetrates shields and stuff, and it does quite well that way. I think it does more damage for the weapon, especially if you're hitting like headshots and going right through their shield. It kind of melts their shield a little bit faster, so that's a lot nicer. But They're not crazy. None of the perks here are crazy, so I am going to give perks a 6. I just didn't feel like there was anything there was any pizzazz really with this weapon's perks. Moving on to long range. Long range, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm giving it a 9 because I never had any problem with damage drop off, and it was always basically pretty consistent. I never had any problems missing shot. I mean, I did miss shots. I missed quite a few shots. If you see the video, you'll see me miss about a bazillion. But I did have a good time shooting it because it was very consistent. I wasn't hitting, 40 headshots or anything like that. I was continually and always hitting the 56, 57 headshot. And that was what made the gun pretty consistent at that range, and that's what I really enjoyed. Moving on to short range. Short range was different. It was weird and different. First of all, short range is obviously a little bit harder with a scout rifle because, they're slower shooting and they don't really have the power that a submachine gun does at that range. But this one's weird, mainly because the hip fire is really good. You're seeing the video that I have up now, which I'm going to put the first one in. It is a 17-0 victory. So I had 17 kills and no deaths, and it was an Iron Banner. And a couple of those kills, I was just hip firing, and I was getting kills with it. This weapon is very strangely accurate at short range when just hip firing the weapon. So when I would go into an engagement and I knew it was going to be close, I usually had the hip fire ready, and once I saw them, I hit them with the hip fire and then scoped in. That was kind of the meta for that when I was using it throughout the Crucible. And that seemed to work, and it just made it so that my first shot was first. Technically, I was actually getting a shot off before he was, melting me with a submachine gun or an auto rifle or something like that. But yeah, weird at short range. I'm gonna give it a 6 at short range just because it's a scout rifle. If you're using a scout rifle at short range, you're bananas, unless it's like a fast shooting scout rifle. Obviously, 150 rounds per minute is not fast, so you're probably not going to be using this at short range. I would just recommend switching to a submachine gun or an auto rifle, something else that you have equipped. It would just make things a whole lot easier at close range. But this one, it's going to get a 6 because it's weird, because it actually can hip fires, and if you want to use it at short range, be my guest. Now moving on to effectiveness, we have to do a little bit of a calculation. First off, we're going to go ahead and calculate kills and deaths. So for kills, I was able to get 261 kills out of the 15 matches, and for deaths, I was able to get 106. I wasn't able to get, I gave up 106, sadly. But if you take those and you add them together, we have 367 total engagements. So it's not quite to 400 engagements, therefore, it's a slower game, it's a slower pace weapon than I was using. Now we can slap the equation up there because we have all three of the numbers that we need. So we take 261, we're going to divide that by the 367, we're going to multiply that by 100, and we are going to get a score for effectiveness of a 7.1. I finally realized the actual calculation in my math is wrong in this, and I'm sorry. It's actually times 10. So if you're timesing it by 100, if you're actually following along and timesing it by 100, and you're getting like a 71, I'm sorry, because that's not what it is. It's multiplied by 10 instead, so that it just gets the one number over. I'm a goof. It's okay. But now we can get our overall rating. All we have to do is add up all of those numbers, the 6, the 9, 6, 7.1, add those up. We divide by 4. We get the average of that, and that turns into our overall rating, which is a 7 even. Now, adding all that up, we get a final score of a 35.1. Now that we have our final score, we can go ahead and rank this bad boy. So first of all, we're going to explain it, because some people may not know if this is their first video. With this score of a 35.1, I am going to take that against all of the class weapons that I've done. So class weapons being the same class, so a scout rifle in this instance. I'm going to take it against all the scout rifles that I've done to see how it stacks up against those. And then I'm going to take it against every single weapon that I have done so far. And that's almost 70. I think we're at 69 right now. And LOL. But, we're almost to 70 weapons. So you see where it stacks up against all 70. For scout rifles, this weapon is going to be coming in at 8th. It is obviously behind a few gods. And it is a little bit further down the list. Obviously, with the slower shooting kind of pace that it has, it's not going to become, one of those god weapons unless it had some sort of perk that made it that. But, it's going to be average for a little bit just because there's no perks that I can put on it to make it OP. So it kind of have to deal with what I've been given. And, with the other weapons that are actually fast shooting and still do around the same damage, and they're much faster at firing and they just do a lot more damage faster. Those weapons are obviously going to be higher on the list. Obviously, aka the Mida tool is up there because it shoots really fast and stuff like that. So a lot of those weapons beat it out, you know, that's just how it is. Then going on to the entire list of Destiny 2 that I've done so far, it is going to be ranked at 24th. A little bit down the list, but it's not crazily down the list. I say if it tries to get into the top 20, it's probably a pretty good weapon. Even with a score of a 35.1, it's still a good weapon. Now on to my opinion. So what should you do with this weapon? Should you use it? Should you not? I think you should use it. Test it out. If you have it, go ahead and try it out. If you don't have it, you know, it's probably something you could pass up. You don't have to try and grind for this weapon. It's not something that you need to actually actively take your time out of your day to find it. It's more of a thing where if you have this weapon, it's convenient to use it and try it out and see what it's like. And it does take a little bit getting used to. I'm going to let you know that right now. If you are used to a faster playstyle with an SMG or even an auto rifle, it is going to be just a tad difficult trying to get used to this. It is for me, obviously, because I always play with a whole bunch of different weapons. And a lot of the weapons that we play with are short range. And so I have to kind of, you know, get that sort of mentality in that I'm gunning and gunning and gunning. But with this weapon, you know, I got to sit back, I got to be an anchor, I got to be all that sorts of things with it. I got to shoot long-range alleys. It was really fun. So I would go ahead and recommend using this weapon if you have it. If you don't have it, don't try and, you know, break your back over trying to get it. So that is going to be the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and check out the channel. If you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you later.
I'm glad you came.